Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. And today, we've got a story that every Laker fan needs to hear, especially with the playoffs heating up and tensions rising across the Western Conference. We're diving deep into the Lakers playoff matchup, yes, the highly anticipated clash that features not just one, not two, but three of the most electric stars in the NBA today: Anthony Edwards, Luka Doncic, and of course, the king himself, LeBron James. But here's the thing. Even though this is shaping up to be one of the most thrilling playoff battles we've seen in years, there are some real questions bubbling just beneath the surface. Questions like, can the Lakers actually get past this young, hungry Timberwolves team? Is their depth really enough to carry them through a grueling 7-game series? And what happens if Minnesota finally figures out how to stop Luka? We're breaking it all down today. 3 reasons the Lakers should win this series, and 2 major red flags that could spell trouble. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for every single one, because the third reason in particular might just flip how you see this matchup entirely. Let's get into it. First things first, reason number 1, versatility. Lineup versatility, stylistic versatility, and just flat-out adaptability on the court. This Lakers team isn't a one-trick pony. They can play big. They can play small. They can go slow. They can turn on the jets. It's not about being locked into one identity. This roster was built to morph depending on the matchup. Take a look at their 2 primary bigger lineups. The first, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, and Jackson Hayes. Not a single guy under 6 feet 5 inches. That lineup? A net rating of plus 1.1. Solid, dependable, and more importantly, playoff tested. Then you've got the second variation. Same group, swap in Dorian Finney-Smith for Rui. Another positive net rating at plus 1.0. That's versatility that produces results. But if you really want to see where this team shines, go small. Their small ball lineup with Luka, Reeves, Finney-Smith, LeBron, and Rui, that's a net rating of plus 18.6. Elite. We're talking about the kind of lineup that closes out quarters, steals momentum, and breaks games open. It's the type of unit you see come in during crunch time, and more often than not, walk off with a win. Now contrast that with Minnesota. Don't get me wrong, the Wolves are a good team, but they're far more rigid in how they operate. Their effectiveness leans heavily on one man, Rudy Gobert. And when Gobert is off the floor, or played off the floor like Luka has done to him in the past, the Timberwolves struggle a lot. Take away Gobert, and you're left with smaller, more vulnerable lineups. Lineups that statistically don't hold up. Just look at the numbers. When they roll out combinations like Julius Randle, Naz Reid, and McDaniels, those lineups have posted net ratings of minus 4.3, minus 1.66, and minus 3.5 respectively. That's a recipe for disaster against a versatile Lakers squad that can throw curveballs from every angle. Now on to reason number 2, depth. And this is where things really separate the contenders from the pretenders. Let's say, hypothetically, Luka Doncic and Anthony Edwards both have off nights. Let's remove the stars from the equation. Who's got more left in the tank? The Lakers still have LeBron, still have Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Dorian Finney-Smith, Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes, Jared Vanderbilt, Jordan Goodwin. That's not just depth, that's playoff caliber depth. Multiple players who can go off for 20-plus points. Multiple defenders who can clamp down when it counts. That's how you survive a 7-game series. Minnesota? They've got talent, but the drop-off is more significant. Julius Randle is inconsistent in the playoffs. Mike Conley is aging. Dante DiVincenzo and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are solid, but can you rely on them when everything's on the line? And that brings us to the third reason, the X factor. And it's something Minnesota fans probably don't want to hear. Luka already destroyed this team last year without the firepower he has now. Let's go back to the 2024 Western Conference Finals. Luka Doncic versus Minnesota. The result? 32.4 points per game, 9.7 rebounds, 8.2 assists, and over 4 threes per game on 43.4% shooting from deep. That's not just good. That's dominance. And that was without LeBron James or Austin Reeves flanking him. Now, Minnesota has to stop all 3. Luka, LeBron, Reeves. So the question is, how do they plan to do that? Let's assume Jaden McDaniels is on Luka. That already neutralizes their best wing defender. Who guards LeBron? Julius Randle? Anthony Edwards? Neither option is particularly appealing. Dante DiVincenzo off the bench. That's a mismatch waiting to happen. And then there's Austin Reeves, who's quietly become one of the most efficient and sneaky dangerous third options in the league. In short, the Wolves couldn't stop one superstar last time. What makes anyone think they can stop three now? But hold on. We said we weren't going to be totally biased here. So let's flip it for a second. Let's talk about two very real reasons why Minnesota could actually pull this off. Reason one, they've been here before. 5 playoff games against Luka last year. 5 games to study, analyze, adapt. You better believe they've spent the last 12 months trying to figure out exactly how to slow him down. Maybe they change the defensive scheme. Maybe they throw a box and one or start blitzing early. Maybe they throw zone at him and dare someone else to beat them. If they find a way to hold Luka to even 28 points instead of 32, that 4-point swing could be the difference in a game 6 or 7. And then there's reason number 2. The Lakers' defense isn't as good as Luka's old team. The Mavs finished 7th in defensive rating post-deadline last season. The Lakers this year, 17th. That's a huge drop-off, which means Anthony Edwards has room to go off. And guess what? He might. Because let's be honest here, the Lakers don't really have a great matchup for him. Vanderbilt and Finney-Smith both come off the bench. So to start games, who guards Ant? Austin Reeves? Luka? LeBron? None are ideal. And if Edwards gets hot early, it could change the entire tone of the series. So yeah, this isn't a walk in the park. This isn't a sweep waiting to happen. But here's the bottom line. The Lakers have LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves. They have size, speed, shooting, and defense. They have depth. They have playoff experience. And they have momentum. This is the first time in 5 years they've had home court advantage, and you better believe they're not going to waste it. But what do you think about all of this? Can the Timberwolves pull off the upset? Will Luka dominate again? Can LeBron turn back the clock for one more playoff run? And that chemistry shows up in the clutch. The Lakers are one of the top 5 teams in clutch time net rating since the All-Star break. That means when the game gets close, within 5 points in the last 5 minutes, they know how to execute. They don't panic. They don't fall apart. They dig in. That's what wins playoff games. That's what sends teams to the finals. Let's not forget coaching either. Darvin Ham has had his ups and downs this season, but he's figured out something key: how to stagger his stars effectively. There are very few minutes where both Luka and LeBron are off the floor. That's crucial, because it means the Lakers almost always have a playmaker out there who can control tempo, initiate offense, and calm the storm when needed. Meanwhile, Minnesota hasn't solved that problem. There are long stretches where Edwards is on the bench, and the offense turns into iso ball or aimless pick and rolls with Randle. That kind of stagnation gets you buried fast against a team like LA, who thrives on transition buckets and momentum swings. Speaking of momentum, watch how the Lakers start quarters. One of their under-the-radar strengths is coming out of timeouts and breaks with purpose. Whether it's a scripted play, a mismatch hunt, or a sneaky backdoor cut, they're excellent at stealing buckets right when you're least expecting it. That's the mark of a veteran team. And let's take a minute to talk about Rui Hachimura. He's not just a role player anymore. He's a postseason weapon. His mid-range game is silky. His corner three is reliable. And he's got the size to punish smaller wings. In a series like this, where matchups shift constantly, Rui becomes the kind of guy who can swing a game without anyone realizing it until it's too late. Now, if you're the Timberwolves, you have to ask yourself, where's your Rui? Who's that guy who slips through the cracks and drops 17 off the bench when you thought you had things under control? That's a scary question when you're facing a team this deep. Another wild card for the Lakers? Gabe Vincent. He's still ramping up after injury, but when he's fully integrated, his perimeter defense and spot-up shooting add a whole new layer. Remember, this is the same guy who helped Miami get to the finals. He's been tested. He's fearless. And in a tight Game 5 or Game 7, that kind of veteran presence matters more than most people think. And we haven't even mentioned Jared Vanderbilt's defensive energy. He's like a heat-seeking missile on the court, crashing the glass, jumping passing lanes, hounding the ball handler. When he's healthy and locked in, he changes the feel of a game in about 30 seconds flat. But maybe the most underappreciated element of this Lakers squad? Their communication. You can hear them talking on defense. Constant switches, help rotations, calling out screens. It's organized chaos, and it works. That kind of vocal presence is rare, and it's especially valuable in high-stakes playoff environments where every possession matters. So let's not sugarcoat it, the Lakers are built for the postseason. They have the mix of star power, depth, coaching, experience, and cohesion that championship teams need. They don't rely on one player. They can win ugly. They can win pretty. And that kind of balance makes them dangerous. Of course, Minnesota isn't just going to roll over. This is a prideful, gritty squad. Anthony Edwards is ascending into superstardom right before our eyes, and he's got that edge, the kind that can carry a team if he catches fire. If he gets going and Gobert holds the paint, anything is possible. But that's what makes this series so compelling. It's not just a battle of talent. It's a clash of styles, a war of adjustments, and a test of who blinks first. And the deeper this series goes, the more it favors the team that's been there before, who knows how to stay calm in the storm. Contrast that with the Lakers. This group is loose, confident, and laser-focused. They've got nothing to prove, and yet everything to gain. LeBron is chasing legacy. Luka is chasing history. And that combination creates a hunger that's hard to match, especially against a team still trying to prove they belong. Let's not forget the crowd either. Home court matters, especially in LA. Crypto.com Arena turns into a different beast in the playoffs. The lights are brighter. The stakes are higher. And for visiting teams, it can feel suffocating. The Lakers feed off that energy. And if they take Game 1 convincingly, that building becomes a fortress. Minnesota's path to survival has to be near perfect. They have to shoot lights out from three. They have to win the rebounding battle. They have to stay out of foul trouble. That's a lot of boxes to check every single night. And if they slip up even once, the Lakers have the tools to make them pay in a hurry. One thing people forget about Luka Doncic is how methodical he is. He's not flashy for the sake of it. He dissects defenses. He slows the game down to his pace. He finds your weakest defender and attacks over and over until you adjust, and then he adjusts back. He's not just playing basketball. He's playing chess. And in the playoffs, that level of calculation matters. Every possession is a mini-battle. Every rotation is magnified. Luka's ability to manipulate defenders with angles, hesitation, and vision, it forces opposing coaches into panic mode. Suddenly, you're double-teaming too early. Suddenly, you're switching when you shouldn't. And that's when the Lakers feast. The Lakers' offensive sets have also evolved. They're no longer reliant on isolation or high pick-and-rolls alone. There's more off-ball movement, more cutting, more read-and-react action. That's what makes this team harder to scout. You don't know where the next shot is coming from, and that unpredictability gives them an edge. Another thing working in LA's favor? Turnovers. Since the All-Star break, they've been top 5 in turnover percentage. That means fewer empty possessions, fewer transition opportunities for their opponent, and more control over pace. It's the little things like that that win playoff series. But what happens if this series goes to a Game 7? That's where pedigree matters most. LeBron has been in more Game 7s than most of Minnesota's roster combined. Luka's already logged 30-point triple-doubles in elimination games. These guys don't shrink. They rise. Meanwhile, Minnesota's big names still have question marks. Can Anthony Edwards deliver in back-to-back high-pressure games? Can Julius Randle stay consistent through an entire series? Can Mike Conley handle the physical demands of guarding faster, younger guards deep into the fourth quarter? And what about coaching? Chris Finch has done an admirable job with Minnesota, but he's never been this deep in the postseason spotlight. Darvin Ham, while still early in his coaching career, has the benefit of experience from last year's Western Conference Finals run. And more importantly, he has a roster that believes in his decisions. Let's talk intangibles, too. Body language, hustle plays, bench reactions. This Lakers team is locked in. Watch them during timeouts. Watch the way they celebrate each other's success. That's not just surface-level hype, it's culture. And culture wins in May. The Timberwolves, if they want to steal the series, need to find an identity. They can't just rely on Anthony Edwards to bail them out. They need to move the ball. They need to defend without fouling. They need to make the Lakers uncomfortable. Because if LA gets into rhythm early, this might be over quicker than anyone expects. Personally, I'm fired up. I think this Lakers team has what it takes to not just win this series, but make a serious run to the finals. I mean, just think about it. Luka and LeBron on the same team in a deep playoff run. That's movie-level stuff. That's history in the making. And I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Lakers News Fan Report, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. We've got more breakdowns, analysis, and speculation coming your way all postseason long, so stick with us. This playoff ride is just getting started.